Welcome, everybody, one last time to the very final episode of the Geek Dad Report, the one show dedicated, formulated, specially created, and to bring out you guys and girls all the geek news you need to know, all by putting a little smile on your beautiful faces. I am Brian, the hostess, for 200 episodes with the absolute mostest.
I am Ryan from the East Coast Quarantine, or as the Hunger Games might have called it, the Section 13 or whatever.
I think we're Section 6, which is supposedly the 4 section, if I know my Hunger Games correctly.
What section was? I guess that makes sense, because that's the
Pacific Northwest, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, welcome everybody. This is, in fact, the rumors are true. This is, in fact, our final episode of the Geek Dad Report. We have decided to hang it up, to let it all go, to just finite and ride off into the sunset. Yeah, this is it. 5 years. We started the show 5 years ago. And I don't know about you, but I didn't think we'd ever make it to 200 episodes. And that doesn't even include like our side shows and everything else.
So I went and I looked and I watched episode 1, the beginning.
Oh, no.
We go to WPR shows.
We should import those one of these days.
We're back on Watch, Play, Read.
Yeah.
It's 15 or 16 minutes long. If you can imagine what a 16-minute episode. And the thing is, we seem to do a pretty good job. We covered 6 or 7 we went in, we introduced, we dove right into the news.
Yeah.
We talked about some recommendations, and then we played with our giant Hulk figures.
Our Hulk figures at the end. Yeah, you dude.
Hulk, and you had the Green Hulk.
And you know what's funny is that 15 minutes felt like an eternity.
Well, it was an eternity because we did 100 takes.
Oh my god!
One.
Dude, remember? I was so nervous. We both were. It was terrible. It was, for a lot of people who don't know, I don't know. I don't know how many of you guys and girls have been with us from the very beginning. I'm sure there's a few of you. I know Trevor, our good friend Trevor. And side notes, if you don't hear your name mentioned, stay all the way to the end. We plan on giving just about everybody who's been part of our show for the last 200 episodes a shout out at some point or the other. So this is very much a thank you letter to everybody who's been with us as much as it's an episode of the show. So. But like I said, I think Trevor's been with us from the very beginning. There's probably a few other people, but yeah, man, it is crazy how far we've come. But I remember when we started doing takes, that was kind of the running gag on the show is I would have to do probably 15 to 20 intros. Yeah.
No, we would, oh my God, we would do so many intros on sometimes. And I think I remember a good solid, it was a 45 minutes of us just trying to get the intro going, then having to stop and then redoing it and everything like that.
And then we'd have a really good one, and then I'd pause for even a second, and I'm like, we gotta start all over again, and you'd just be like, God.
Yes, you were very much a perfectionist in the beginning.
Still am, but
but what we were only doing one take, and so that was part of the thing, was that we were doing, and we still only do it all in one take. So you kind of when you don't have the editing factor, then you kind of
I can edit shows, and I've had to edit shows in the past just because we've had shows that have stopped halfway through, but. We always just wanted to be a one take, and I don't like to edit. I like to just roll with it and see what happens, right? So, but yeah, it took a while. I mean, even now we'll still occasionally have a couple takes. I think we started out, 2 or 3 tonight, but yeah, it's
episodes 1 through 15 were the highest one was 47 minutes. God. And then all of a sudden we did an hour and 20-minute episode.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what was I'm trying to think what the catalyst was.
Nothing has been under an hour.
I think there was no real catalyst for that either. I think we just we started getting more comfortable and we wanted to add this or add that to the show, and then it just became this fucking behemoth. Do you remember for a while every episode was 2.5 hours, over 2 hours?
Yeah, we had a couple of times where and I think it was when I was living in Utah at the time, so it wasn't as like bad
Yeah.
of a time difference. Um, so yeah, being done at 12 o'clock after doing a 2 hour show is a lot different than like right now it's 11:20 and
Yeah.
we're just getting started.
Well, I
So
think once you moved to Philadelphia, to be fair, me and you have been talking for about 40 minutes before the show about the old goddamn coronavirus. So
yeah,
we
and
decided we didn't want this entire
Corona, I'm drinking.
yeah, we decided we didn't want this episode, the entire episode, to be about the coronavirus. I'm sure we're going to talk about it a little bit tonight. I don't know how you can't. The whole world has been canceled because of it, so it's out there. But we didn't want this show to be all about that. So, but yeah. So and then we ended up settling around about an hour and 20 minutes was kind of our time, and then I think we've kind of stuck with that pretty much for the whole the back nine of this
Yeah.
saga. Known as the Geek Dad Report.
It's been almost exactly 5 years because I went and I looked, and our March 13, 2015 was our first recorded episode. So before, we just did the article series that we were writing. I started it in 2012 when I was writing for Big Shiny Robot.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris got me to come over to or X got me to come over to what was it called before I made him change it?
Wasn't it something like
Media Horror Network?
Yeah, Media Horror. I knew there was a horror in there somewhere.
Yeah. And I said, if I'm gonna write for this thing and you want me to put some effort into it, I am not going to be writing for a website. I cannot, in good faith, tell my family, hey, you guys need to check out the website I'm writing for called Media Horror Network. So then we had it changed to Watch, Play, Read, and then I had you were writing on it. Kyle did some. I think Chris. We were trying to rotate it, and then we were like, you know what? Screw everybody else. Let's just make this a podcast.
Let's do it as a podcast.
Talk about it.
We thought we started it with Geek Dad Report. It only became the Geek Dad Report just because I knew how much Ryan liked that article. It had nothing to even do with the fact that we were dads. I was just like, yeah, it's a catchy name. Let's call the podcast that. Which, in hindsight, I do think part of the reason why this show never quite got the following it could have is because I think we were too generalized as the Geek Dad Report. Like,
Well, it's like you said. I mean, if we had called it the Geek Parent Report, but then
some of our best followers and most avid fans are our female audience too, which is great. I mean, I just wish we could have. I wish we probably could have. If I could have gone back and done anything, I wish we could have changed the name to something that was more inclusive to everybody. I think we might have been able to reach more people, but that's okay. I'd like to give a shout out to the ladies who have followed us. Christine, especially you. You haven't been our longest fan, but you have probably been our most faithful fan since you became a fan of the Geek Dad Report. So
who knows? In the next iteration, because I don't think you and I will stop podcasting.
No,
we'll figure out something to do, but it's just going to be an entirely different format because the podcasting space now is absolutely insane from when we started 5 years ago. And even when we started 5 years ago, the space was pretty crowded.
It was pretty crowded, but people could find us. I mean, I don't even know why we call it a podcast. You quit uploading it to iTunes how long ago?
Yeah. Like, remember, we had like some guy from like Philippines or something that was listening to us. We're like, oh, that's all.
Dude, we actually, our Facebook page is actually very popular in Africa. We have a lot of people from the continent of Africa. I don't want to say specifically which countries because I'm not sure, but
it's because every time I get one of those emails about some Nigerian prince that wants to sell, I tell them that if they follow us on Watch,
is that what it is?
And then I'll wire the money.
That is genius. So does that mean we have like $1 zillion coming our way as soon as we give them $1 million?
Yeah, I've been trying to build up the back account.
All right, nice. I like it. It's for our next generation. But all seriousness, I know some people have asked why we've decided to hang it up after 200 episodes. I think some of it comes down to just you do something long enough, even if you really enjoy it, it just feels like you just want to try something different. You want to do something else. And honestly, if me and Ryan, if we didn't have jobs and this was our job, I'd probably just keep doing this and launch 2 or 3 other shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just look at like any of your favorite TV shows. I mean,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones was what, 6 years, 7 years? I mean,
Yeah,
we
so
lasted almost.
they didn't even make
Game.
it 200 episodes. What a weak show. Losers.
Yeah, I mean, this it's a very long time to do something it's a very niche market,
Well,
very and
it's not even so much that. It's just, and also, so I mean, me and Ryan both talked about it. It became too routine, and it wasn't that we didn't enjoy doing it. We just, like, neither one of us were getting excited anymore about doing it because ultimately it ended up just,
if you didn't notice, we're only recording once every 2 weeks now.
Yeah, partially because the news is literally all the same now. It's exactly the same. And there's 1,000 places that are just sharing the news. And so we would share it and talk about it on our Facebook page, which, by the way, anybody has questions, we're not going to shutter the Facebook page. We're still going to have Facebook and Twitter. And we'll still have a place that we can all still talk about nerd stuff. And, and me and Ryan may pop on the show and do a quick nerd hit if somebody has a question about the latest Batman movie or something. But so that's still all going to be going. But everything was Disney's done this, Disney's done that, remake this, remake that. These fans are angry. These fans are dicks. Like this fan wants to cancel everything. It just got old. It was literally the same news every single week. And ultimately, the funnest part of the show was just answering questions from you guys. So me and Ryan just decided, maybe we should start thinking more in a direction of more fan interaction, more stuff that we like to do, less about just regurgitating the news, and more about, doing things that we just enjoy and talking about. I mean, we don't know yet exactly what. We're still thinking about some ideas, and we're going to probably take a short little, probably a shorter. We'll see a break. We'll see how long it is, but we'll take a break, and then we may come back and just for 2 months we just talk about 1980s movies. I don't know. But we're gonna focus on things we really want to do.
Yeah, and it's hard trying to figure out what people want. It's part of it trying to figure out, like, trying to find, a base, people that listen to you. But it's also got to be something that Brian, this is literally, well, like, especially now, you're the only person I've talked to that's not my family member, and I love my family. I love my wife. I love my kids. But the only time I've left the house in the last 2 weeks is to walk my damn dog.
Wow.
And my wife had to go to Costco, and we all went with her, but we all stayed in the car, and she went inside and, like, did all the shopping and stuff, and that's the most this is the most interaction I've had in 3 weeks.
Well, I can honestly say that hasn't been the case for me. I know we're not going to talk too much about Corona, but I have been one of the lucky essential personnels. But while I'm very thankful that I still have a job, I know there's a lot of people, possibly people even listening right now, who have been laid off and are going through some tough times. I'm very thankful that I do have a job. But it's kind of tough, man. Me and my wife both are essential personnel and have to be in front of people. Like, everyone's talking about, like, everyone's scared shitless about catching the corona, which rightfully so. And I'm out there, like, I'm trying to practice social distancing, but I'm literally training somebody, so I've got a guy next to me, like, a foot away every day. And I'm just like, ugh. I keep telling him, like, you better on the weekend stay your ass at home, because I swear to God, if you cough in my direction, I'm punching you right out the side of my truck.
Yeah. I'm very lucky that I've been able to telework for the last 3 weeks from now they just said that we're doing it indefinitely, and they don't know when they're going to let us come back into the office and come back on the base to do our work. But
yeah. I know when they have a vaccine, that's when they'll let you come to work.
So we have a guy that literally started 1 week before we were all sent home. He did not have any of his stuff set up yet. He still has access to nothing. Like, and
is he just sitting at home collecting a check?
Dude, I can bet you, I'll bet you $100 that he's just been sitting at home watching Netflix for 3 weeks because he literally has access to nothing but his email.
Dude, talk about a score. What a great...
we can't even delegate him work because he doesn't have the access to
But you still have to pay him? That's amazing.
Yeah.
That dude is telling everybody, guys, I got the greatest gig in the world. I'm doing nothing and I'm getting paid full wages. It's
I
amazing.
I got a job with the Department of Defense, and then they sent us home, and I haven't had to do anything since then.
Hashtag government jobs are the best.
Yeah, and he's been responding like all the team chats, like, "No, I'm doing okay." It's like, yeah, I'm sure you're doing
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sure you're good.
Yeah.
How's your latest season of whatever fucking show you're watching?
But I mean, my kids are kind of doing school stuff. They don't. Their teacher didn't really give them a lot of stuff, and our school district
Yeah,
blows.
dude, don't even get me started on schools. I mean,
Our,
I
our
don't have it
school
as bad.
ball hardcore, man. There's like there's no online stuff. There's no like they told teachers they can't like create their own things on their own because then
Yeah, that
other
doesn't
people
follow the
are not getting
regulations and guidelines.
because they can do it, but maybe another teacher can. So that's like not even. So
Well, our kids, we've been pretty fortunate in my house. I mean, not much change for us because, like I said, me and my wife both have to go to work every day. So we're not the people who have been homeschooling my kids. Big shout out to my daycare lady. She has been amazing. That is why I have been buying her booze at Costco whenever she asks for it because thank you for your patience. But you know what teachers should do? Honestly, as soon as kids go back to school. As soon as they come back from the from the summer break, teachers should go on strike immediately because all parents would be like, give them whatever they want.
yeah, they all want to make $100,000 a year.
Pay them, give them the money. Yeah, teachers. I don't think people have realized how valuable teachers are until recently, but yeah. So I mean, we've got some online stuff. There's some districts up here who do a lot of online stuff, so they haven't slowed down at all, but. Our curriculum isn't completely online yet, but they do have some online like programs they can do to kind of help with math and reading and stuff like that. We've been having them read books. We've been having them practice their instruments. We've been trying to keep up on it, but
I made my son jog around the neighborhood yesterday. Cause I was like, you know what, get the hell out of the house. Go jog, go do some laps around the neighborhood.
Yeah, this last weekend I had to finally explain to them all the dead people in Italy to get them to social distance from their friends. That's been the hardest part, and I hate it. And we live in a neighborhood when one kid comes out, there's all these kids our kids' age. One kid comes out and they all just suddenly come out and start playing, and I love it. That's why we moved to this neighborhood. But right now they need to stay 6 feet apart from each other, and so. They're starting to all kind of get it a little bit. Like people walk their dogs. They're talking from across the street. They're all kind of riding their scooters, and you can see like a whole train of them. They're all like, not exactly 6 feet apart, but they're all apart from each other while they're trying to scooter. Yeah. But it's I don't know, man. It's been tough.
The only time I leave my house is when I walk my dog, and there's like the usual people that I see that are either walking or something like that, and I'll be on one side of the street and they're on the other, and we're like. Oh.
Yeah, we're all kind of yelling at each other across the way. I've only been home, so we've been Washington. We finally got the basically the home quarantine order yesterday. Or on Monday. It takes effect tonight. So we've got 2 weeks of lockdown other than essential coming up. But even before that, our governor kind of canceled bars and peep groups of over 10 and stuff like that. So we've kind of just been on the weekends. There's nothing to do, so we've just been at the house. I've already cleaned my garage, done almost all my projects, like cleaned the backyard.
I'm trying to get my fam. I live with hoarders.
You live in a house of hoarders.
Oh my god, it's like I grew up in a household where on the weekend you weren't allowed to do anything until you cleaned your room and you did all your cleaning chores, and then you were allowed to do stuff. And the house was always clean and everything like that. I cannot get any of that stuff going. Everyone is a hoarder, and
give it time. A couple more weeks and people start going stir crazy. They'll just start finding shit to do. But
at the point, like my son who's 12 going on like 16, he's got the teenager attitude. I am just like this close, Brian, to just losing it. And
oh, dude, I've lost it numerous times.
I don't know how I'm gonna deal with it when he's a full-fledged like teenager. He's always I got in
an argument with my daughter, my 10 going on 25-year-old daughter, because it was 11 o'clock on a Wednesday, and she couldn't understand why she couldn't watch another movie. And I'm like, I have to get up for work at 6 a.m. Take your ass to bed. Oh. She was so mad. She's just like, you're being so rude. And I'm like, I'm being rude. I'm going to show you rude.
Yeah.
Fucking kids.
Like, do you like having things? Because you can have all the things taken away.
But yes, I do feel bad for a lot of the parents who are trying to work and are also homeschooling their kids and doing all the stuff from home. I'm sometimes for all of us, man.
My wife is a stay-at-home mom, so she's been kind of handling all that stuff. But I come downstairs and I see them not doing stuff, and I'll just like hit their tablets. Like, nope, get off. Go.
Dude, I've had to ban all electronics in the house during the weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't know, whatever. But you know, we can sit and talk about all our quarantine.
Talk about some fun stuff, Brian.
Yeah, let's talk about some fun stuff. We will talk probably more about the things we've been doing in our quarantine throughout the episode, but we do have a few things for everybody tonight. We do have a few items of news. Not much has happened because the coronavirus has canceled just about everything, but we do have a couple things we're going to talk about. We got a bunch of great listener questions from you guys. We're going to answer those for the last time on this show. Hopefully we'll have more listener questions on other shows in the future, but as far as this show goes, this will be the final listener question. We do have some recommendations, at least I know I do, and then at the end of the show, I think we're going to talk a little bit about the future, what we're going to do, and maybe me and Ryan will get a little heartfelt, shed a tear. And that'll be that.
And then we'll show our boobs.
And then we'll go our separate ways, never to speak again.
Except on Messenger chat.
Except sending dirty pictures
of
dirt
to
each other.
If you stop sending your dirty pictures of yourself, I would be very disappointed. I mean...
That's what I do, man. That's who I am. But, all right, but enough of that, Ryan. It is time, for the last time, to enter the House of Pain. Ha! The dojo of learning, Ryan. And in this dojo, we teach 3 very important things. The first one is the uppercut of information.
Ooh, it's very brutal.
Then the Captain Kirk double axe chop of knowledge.
And then, Brian, we finish it all off with the Cobra Kai leg sweep of learning.
That is a dangerous combination.
That leg sweep, then you might as well just be dead.
I mean, once you get hit, you just die. Your soul leaves your body and you collapse.
And then you have Danny Russo just standing over you.
Yeah, coughing on you because he is the corona.
And he's like, I'm going to own a car dealership someday.
Yeah, son.
You're going to have to get all the stupid kids at the local San Dimas High School, whatever.
San Dimas High School rules. Woo!
Oh, wait, no, that's Bill and Ted. What was the name of their high school?
I think I've distracted you with my Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure shirt.
Yeah,
and I specifically wore this for the final episode because I want all of the people who love us to be excellent to each other.
I think my shirt...
And honestly, in the world right now, I want everyone to be excellent to each other.
I got Dungeons and Dragons.
You are such a nerd. Anyway, moving on. All right, so our first topic is the coronavirus. Yes, it is. It is canceled fucking everything.
Yep.
It has canceled movie theaters. This last weekend was the first time the worldwide box office hit zero.
Really, zero?
Zero. First time since 1982, and I don't even know what happened in 82, but apparently it was 0 in 82 as well.
Wasn't that like there's that stock market crash in 82? But...
Maybe everybody stayed home. I don't know. Maybe there was a power outage.
Yeah.
But zero at the box office.
Well, there's a reason why Onward is going to be on digital.
Which is great for you guys, man, because I'm glad I went and saw it in the theater. It's a good movie, but it's, anybody who hasn't seen Onward, it's going to be on the Disney Plus on April 1st, I believe.
Yeah. Can't complain. But zero, that's crazy. I mean, Can you think, so like Wonder Woman 84 pushed back until the summer.
Yeah, it's been pushed back to August, I think. Black Widow's been pushed back indefinitely. We don't even have a date. Fast and Furious was pushed back till next year.
and with Black Widow being pushed back, that like screws up the whole Marvel timeline of movies. That because they're very like they release all the movies in a very specific order because they're trying to build up towards something.
Yeah.
And when they just pushing,
Yeah.
it's just so much stuff. It's messed up now.
Yeah. And
What do you think? So, would you rather pay $20 and see a movie at home with your wife and kids and make whatever you want and drink whatever you want, or go to the theater and pay $80 to take your wife?
Well, we have a question from the Faithful 50 that I'll dive a little bit more into this later, but to answer the quick version, yes and no. So like this weekend so kind of leads me into our next news story is one of the things that the studios are doing because the theaters are not available is they released a lot of, well, not a lot, but a handful of movies on demand over this weekend for $20. So, for instance, The Invisible Man came out in theaters 3 weeks ago, did really well. It is now available to watch for $20. Trolls World Tour, I think, is another one. The Hunt, which is a movie I actually would like to see, but I'm not paying $20 for. What else was coming out? Oh, Bloodshot, the Vin Diesel movie that was released 2 weeks ago, is now available on demand for $20. I believe that's actually available to buy.
Ooh,
but
not bad.
yeah, which so to answer your question, so this last weekend, me and my wife really wanted to. We've been trying to find a date. We've been trying before Corona hit. We were trying to find some way to go out on a date night to actually see Invisible Man because I heard it was really good, and we just never got a chance to. And so we decided to rent it. We decided to pay the $20. We looked at it like, hey, this was in theaters literally last weekend. We were willing to pay $30+ on 2 tickets to see it. Let's pay $20. And, I'm glad I did. It was a really good movie. I really enjoyed watching it. It was kind of fun, though, because it was $20. I told my wife, we turned off the lights. I made her put down her phone. I was like, if I'm paying $20, this is an experience. We're not pausing it.
Yeah.
We're just going to watch it like we're in the movie theater. And it was really good. It was a really good movie. Was it worth $20? I think it was worth the $20. That being said, would I want to see like Avengers Endgame for the first time that way? Absolutely not. I do think there is, Wonder Woman. There are movies. I go to movies because I like the movie experience, right? Mm-hmm. There's some movies, yes, like Invisible Man. I think it was just as good as Home. So I do think that there are some movies that are worth paying $20 and seeing early at home if you really want to watch it. But there's still, like, for instance, Wonder Woman, and I don't think $20 is going to be the going rate. I do think, like, for instance, there was talk they might release Wonder Woman. Had they released Wonder Woman, it probably would have been $50, 50 or 60, or more like a pay-per-view thing. Yeah. To me, I still would have paid $50 to watch Wonder Woman because I would have paid more than that to watch it with the kids. So if I have to look at it like, would I spend more to go to the theater than I would at home? Then yes, I probably would for a big movie like that. But even then, I'd be disappointed. I have a 70-inch TV and a decent surround sound system, and even that, the experience still cannot replicate the experience of watching it in the theater.
Well, I think like the director of is she the director of Wonder Woman? I think so. But she said,
Patty Jenkins.
She said that that movie was made for the theater.
Yeah.
Everything that they did was made for a theater experience on a very large screen with a theater surround sound, and they take all that into consideration for all of it. So when you go and you see something like Wonder Woman 84, which was a very stylized movie, and with everything that they're
even in the trailer for Wonder Woman 84, to your point, in the trailer she's literally riding lightning with her whip. She's lassoing lightning. I want to see that in the theater with 38 speakers blasting the crackling of the lightning into my brain.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I have a decent TV, but it's not a giant TV, and it gets the job done. I guess the benefit for me is that I can turn on closed captioning. So like my son and I, we watched Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and we watched that with the closed captions on, and I was like, oh man, I missed.
What did you buy that? Was that on? Did you buy that movie? Where'd you watch Rise of Skywalker at, Ryan?
I logged in for the first time in like 3 months to the Voodoo account, and I was like, oh man, I wonder what's on there.
Oh, I'll tell you what's on there. Star Wars.
We were getting
Jumanji?
desperate. Kids were like, "Oh, go, I want something new to watch." I'm like, "Well, I'll just, go check the Voodoo account and see, if you want to watch like, Harry Potter, or something like that." And they go, "Oh, the Star Wars is on here." And what was the other one that you got recently?
I bought Jumanji. I also got really drunk and bought Total Recall. I bought Total Recall and Rounders.
So we watched Jumanji, and then we watched the Star Wars one. So
I haven't even watched it yet.
But
I got Outlaw. We watched X-Men Dark Phoenix, which actually, it's free on HBO. It's not terrible.
it's on HBO. I'll watch it.
Yeah, it just came out on HBO this last weekend. So X-Men Dark Phoenix, not great, not Marvel MCU level, but it's not nearly as bad as people made it out to. It's actually, I enjoyed it.
So we found out like AMC or something like that has all the original X-Men movies. So we watched X-Men, X-Men 2, and I don't think we watched 3 yet. But yeah, we're getting to 3.
Nice.
But the kids, they were like, so this is what Marvel movies like? And like, no, this is not really a Marvel movie. I go, well, it says Marvel, at the very beginning. Like, yeah, it says that, but this was when Marvel was like desperate for money.
All right, kids, we're gonna have a whole lesson on licensing agreements.
Yeah, it's like they were desperate for money, and so they kind of sold it to Fox, and so they just had to kind of slap the Marvel thing on top of it. But it wasn't really a Marvel movie, and it doesn't tie into any of the stuff. And so I had to explain like everything about that to
Well,
them.
in the Marvel movies, we're trying to watch. We're watching Dark Phoenix as a family, and my wife likes the X-Men movies, and so she's trying to figure out. It's like, wait a minute, but didn't Jean Grey already turn into the Phoenix, and then Wolverine killed her? I'm like, yes, it's a different timeline. She's like, what? I'm like, I don't know. I give up.
This is the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it was honestly, it is Dark Phoenix is not nearly as bad as like Age of Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
I put it up there at the same quality as, say, it's better than X-Men 3. It's not as good as First Class. I'd say it's probably a little bit under Days of Future Past, which was pretty good. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. It's a fine movie. For free on HBO, it was highly enjoyable. I enjoyed it. And it's not too long. It's like an hour and 50 minutes. It moves at a very brisk pace, so you're just like, you don't have time to ask questions why none of this makes sense. You're just like, all right, whatever. And you just watch it and move on.
Yeah, just have a couple shots and then watch the movie.
It's totally fine. But as far as like the movies coming, I don't know. We'll talk more about that in a second in the trailer or in the question section. But I think my final thoughts on it is the right movie. I think it makes sense. So I think movies like I think you could see more of like what they just did with The Invisible Man. The first 3 weeks, 4 weeks, where it's going to make all its money in the theater. There it is. But then after week 3 or 4, then they keep it in the theater, but then they also put it on demand. You can pay $20. I think that's going to be a model that they're going to use.
I think it's a good model because
I do too.
When you think about it, like, where's the drop off point? Like when movies just start, like the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then it just, the drop off it starts to, climb.
Well, I mean, how many times have you and your wife wanted to go see a movie, like an adult movie, and by the time you actually can get around to finding a free weekend, you can't find it in the theaters, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So this I would like to see more of that. I think that's the thing. But like, for instance, like Star Wars, I would never pay $20. I would rather just go watch it in the theaters. I just want to see it in the theaters.
Yeah. At least for the first screening, and then when you go home over the weekend, buy it on digital. And then
exactly. A couple other things they are doing is a lot of studios are taking advantage of everyone being quarantined at home. Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys for Life, a lot has been moved up. You can now get it on demand. You can buy it. A lot of movies that were slated to be bought later, like you said, like Onward. Not for 2-3 more months. They're just moving those all up now because they know people have nothing to do but watch movies. So
people are desperate.
I will say the on-demand section of my Apple TV has exploded with movies that you can now purchase, do early. So or even a movie like Bloodshot. I think another thing that might happen is movies after the 3 weeks. But I also think if you have a movie like a Vin Diesel movie like Bloodshot, the first week. Now, I think some of it was because of the coronavirus, but the first week just bombed, right? So if you get a movie that just bombs week one, you can immediately release it. That way you're not losing all the marketing money you've already spent. And you might get people to be like, oh, that's in theaters. Oh, I'll pay $20 for Vin Diesel movie. And then you're like, oh, this movie sucks.
And or they can just wait until May, when everybody's supposedly going to get, their cash check from the government. And
that you have to pay back. Everyone needs to read the fine print on that one.
I don't even want to get it. I haven't gotten that far into the monumental political package.
Oh, God. I don't even. You know what? I don't want to talk about that tonight on the show because I'll just end up railing against the dumb clown man.
For the new podcast, Brian and Ryan Talk Politics.
Yeah, it's going to be called Brian and Ryan Smash the Orange Orangutan is what it's going to be called. God, what an idiot. All right, some other news. If you've been waiting to catch up on Picard because you don't want to pay for CBS All Access, well, you are in luck. They are offering an entire month for free of CBS All Access.
What? Even if you have... But is it for new accounts only? Or
it's for new emails. So you have to log in with a new email. I believe the code is GIFT, GIFT, all in caps. And if you start it now, you will be able to watch the season finale of Picard on April 23rd, I think is what, or 24th or something.
I'm up for that.
Yeah, but a whole month, you can watch the Star Trek Discovery, you can watch Picard. So I think they're hoping that people who are stuck at home will watch it, enjoy it, and then just kind of sign up for forever.
Come on, nobody wants to sign up for CBS All Access just to watch the Star Trek shows. I mean, they're holding them hostage.
They are holding them hostage. It is absolute bullshit. I already have to pay for CBS. Why do I have to pay for CBS All Access? But whatever.
Yeah, I have zero desire to watch Little Sheldon.
Same here. All right. And then lastly, I think the only other news, we got a couple, I guess Apple released a new MacBook and MacBook Air and iPad Pro.
This is like the one time that we really gave a crap about any of the Apple releases.
The only time we cared about Apple is when we were both going to buy MacBooks because our Windows apps kept crashing every time we tried to podcast. See, George R. R. Martin says that he's going to use his quarantine time to finish writing his Game of Thrones novels.
He's a fucking liar. Filthy liar. Sorry for...
Microsoft has released the date for the Series X, the new Xbox. That's coming this November. No price tag yet, but most people anticipate it's going to be $499, which would probably, I don't know.
And if you have a 12-year-old son who's very into his Xbox, he's already been talking about how he's going to get a new one. And I told him he needs to get a job. So,
job? He's got a good-paying job. He needs to sell a kidney for this one.
Yeah.
I will be getting it. It does look like a giant Lego. It's kind of interesting looking, but
like really tall.
It's a cube. It looks like a cube. It kind of looks like the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey. I will only buy this because I cannot wait for the new Halo game. It's going to be incredible. And then lastly, we got some news for the Mandalorian season 2. No word yet on when that's going to start filming, but they've started casting for it. And the big shocker was, it got announced today that Michael Benin, I think his name has been cast in an undisclosed role for season 2. He is the guy most famous for playing what's John Connor's dad in Terminator? Kyle Reese.
Kyle Reese, yeah.
Famous for playing Kyle Reese, also for playing one of those Marines in Aliens, and playing the psycho bad guy in The Abyss, and pretty much being in every James Cameron movie known to man. But he's going to be in it. But the big news was the big news for Mandalorian season 2 was the long gestating I don't know rumor has been found to be true. Ahsoka Tano is coming to live action. That's right. Ahsoka Tano, everybody's favorite Padawan, Anakin Skywalker Padawan, is getting a live action version of herself in The Mandalorian season 2. Rosario Dawson has been cast to play her, and apparently she's going to have a big role in this show.
So is she technically still a Padawan if there's nobody else?
No, she's not a Padawan anymore. I mean, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but if you're watching Clone Wars, she I think season 6 she left the Jedi Order. She's not even a Jedi anymore. She's just a very powerful Force user, doing good in the world.
Son and I started. We're like halfway through season 1. We're going through the whole thing
of Clone Wars. Or did you ever watch Rebels?
No, we're on Clone Wars.
You gotta watch Rebels.
So my son has watched all of Clone Wars, and then I got way behind.
Well, Ahsoka is a huge character, obviously, in Clone Wars, but she is a massive character as well in season 2 of Star Wars Rebels, and she's incredible. I mean, yeah, it's great. Her and Vader have a showdown in season 2 of Rebels that is possibly one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Okay,
and I'm not even kidding. It is up there with any of the movie moments of any of the movies.
Oh, so she's like Padawan and her master.
She's a Jedi master at this point when she fights Anakin, and I want to watch it now. What am I doing in my life? But yeah, so it's long rumored that they were going to. Dave Filoni had been teasing that they could possibly bring some of the Rebels characters and Clone Wars characters into the Mandalorian, and this casting came out of nowhere. Well, Rosario Dawson has long wanted to play the character. She's kind of petitioned to be it on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. But I think she's going to be a great cast. I'm very excited to see this character come to life.
Cory Booker might have put in a good word. Yeah,
possibly. There's also a chance that other characters from Rebels, the ones who survived anyway, will be can make cameos. Yeah.
Don't tell me anything.
I'm not. I just said those who survive. I didn't say who lives and who dies. But yeah. So there's a lot of rumors that more of them are going to make it into the show. Which actually, if you had finished Rebels, Ryan, you would understand would make total sense to show up in the Mandalorian. So I don't care, man. I'm excited. Mandalorian was one of my favorite shows of last year, and I cannot wait for season 2. And we need more Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda in our life.
One of the my daughter had during their quarantine, there was an art studio that was doing a free painting class online, and it was a how to paint Baby Yoda, and my daughter did awesome. 2 hour. It was like an hour and a half long, and so she did giant painting of Baby Yoda, and it looked really really good, from like how they taught them like how to do it and stuff. So she's been drawing. So she took that, experience of painting it, and she's been using that to draw. She's been drawing the crap out of Baby Yoda, like on everything. But
listen, I'm not going to say that Baby Yoda not being in our lives caused the coronavirus. All I'm saying is right after Mandalorian season 1 ended, the coronavirus showed up in China.
It's almost a direct correlation.
Disney, that you want to save the world, Disney, give us more Baby Yoda immediately. Side note, I did manage to get my hands on one of those $60 Baby Yoda, like, moving, like, squishy.
Oh, you got one of them?
I did. I pre-ordered it. It doesn't come till December, though.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Whatever.
I would get one, and I would put it, like, in, like, a Baby Bjorn. Like, I would dig out my kid Baby Bjorn.
If I had a real baby, I'd throw the baby away and put Baby Yoda in the Baby Bjorn.
Yeah. Who needs more babies? We don't need.
I got my Chewbacca for real, and now I'm gonna have my Baby Yoda. I need a front and back Bjorn that I can carry them both.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I feel like a proud pop all over again. And that is all the news that we have that is fit to regurgitate.
That's literally part of the reason why it's so hard to do the news now, because there were literally only 5 things to talk about in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And really, the only thing I'm excited about is, I like talking about movies, but literally Star Wars and movies. That's all I want to talk about.
Yeah. So.
All right. So, well, should we get into the questions, Ryan? Or do you want to do something else? What do you want to do? It's our last show, Ryan. I'm going to let you choose what we do next.
I think let's just dive into the question. We had some really good ones.
What a terrible idea. This is the last time I'll let you choose.
So, this is not the last time we're going to see each other. So.
Yeah, it is. You didn't get the memo?
We're going to go on a vacation sometime.
No, you're going to look at the flowers. Our friendship is over.
I thought you and I were gonna go on our brocation,
No,
and
no. I
we were
said
gonna.
I'm gonna go on my vacation, and when I come back, I've lost your number.
I thought no, we discussed this, Brian. You and I were gonna go together.
No, no.
We were
I
gonna.
said I was gonna go and find a new friend.
I don't like where
I
this is
told you
going.
this was. I'm going on a vacation to find a new co-host. That was. You must have mistaken that.
You're gonna take like some random German that you met at like the
Speaks,
Mexico
speaks
all
no
inclusive.
English and just yells at me all the time.
He's not gonna share his beach towel with you or
Guarantee.
give you the
Guarantee he has a sex dungeon that he wants to broadcast from, though.
yeah.
He probably called me Furline all day. Hello, Furline.
I'm just saying he's gonna reserve that beach chair and he's gonna tell you that you're not gonna get that chair.
Ugh, fine. I guess we can go on a brocation together. You can stay.
No, I don't want to do it now.
Oh, good. Thank God. That was my sympathy plea to you. Show's over. Friendship is done, Ryan. This is your fault. You did this.
Doing my own show. It can be called
Where's Brian? Because this show sucks.
Yeah, it's just gonna be me just sitting there and just crying the whole time.
Nah, you do good. You know what? One of the things that I can honestly say, I was going to save this for the sentimental part of the show, but I'm saying it now. One of the things that's been really awesome about doing 200 episodes with you, Ryan, is watching you like a small fragile flower bust out, bloom into a beautiful fragile flower.
Yeah. I watched the first episode tonight, and not only was it was 5 years ago, and we both looked a little thinner.
Speak for yourself. I'm way more yoked now.
The video quality was terrible, by the way.
Still is.
And but we looked just as handsome as we did back then, Brad.
Always.
But I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know. I think you were going to say that we both were nervous, and you barely spoke. You know what? No, it takes. I talk a lot. It takes a lot to withstand the tidal wave of bullshit that I just spew. And you have found a way. There was times when I was like, Ryan, you need to talk more, say something.
I've been a very huge introvert my whole life.
Yes.
It's been this podcast is probably the most that I've spoken about all the stuff that I actually enjoyed. It's not just to my wife who just sit there and rolls her eyes, and looks like she just wants to, self-mutilate herself. So this podcast has been a very good avenue for me to actually be able to communicate. So, like when we meet people on my kids' soccer team, and they're like, "Oh, you're into nerdy stuff too," I can actually talk to them about it. So, being a giant introvert my whole life, which I know is probably the opposite.
Yes.
Of what it is for you.
Well, no. Hey, you'd be surprised, man. I get social anxiety like anybody does in any situations. Once I feel comfortable, never shut up. That's my problem. But no, I mean, honestly, I always felt like you were almost like the first fan of the show. Like you were just watching me do a show, and then you finally slowly became part of the show, like a real part of the show. And
it did take me a little while to kind of try and figure out like where my voice, like where to assert myself in this, but
it's one of my favorite things about the show, watching you become much more comfortable doing it. So, love you, man. You're still fired. All right, first question. What we got? We got. We didn't get a ton. I was hoping for a lot more. So everybody who didn't leave us a question, it's your fault. We quit the show, and you should be ashamed. And you should definitely blame yourself.
Whose fault it is not Brian? Jeff.
Definitely not Jeff's fault.
I say, let's see, from the people that left questions, these are probably our top, contributors. So Jeff, I think that in the GDR army, he would be our General Patton kind of guy. Yeah,
and Jeff is one of those people that, we've met. I've become friends with Jeff through the show.
Yeah.
And through you. So
it did hurt me just a little bit that you and Jeff became friends. even though I've known Jeff since middle school.
I mean, me and Jeff talk every day on Messenger. I mean, I probably talk to Jeff more than I even talk to you at this point.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
No, we mostly just send. The last thing I sent him, whenever we see something Superman related, we'll send it to each other. I sent him a picture of Henry Cavill on somebody's back, but the guy's butt crack was his chin. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. If it's anything Superman related, Jeff is one of those guys to go to. And if I had known that in high school, Jeff, we probably we could have done some pretty cool.
Ryan, honestly, here's the truth. Me and Jeff's friendship was blossoming and was going in a trajectory like this, like a real high. And then I covered up my Superman tattoo, and then he immediately quit talking to me.
That sounds like something he would do.
I think I hurt him deeply.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff, but it had to be done.
I think you crushed his soul.
I did a little bit. I still love the Man of Steel, man.
You took a bunch of kryptonite and you just rubbed it all over that relationship.
Think about getting another Superman tattoo though over here somewhere. It'd be cool. It'd be cooler.
So, but Jeff does have a good question for us.
All right, Jeff, what's your question, buddy?
He wants to know what studios putting movies out straight to digital because of COVID. Is this the beginning of the end for movie theaters? So we did touch on this a little bit.
Yeah.
So now we can just deep dive into that.
You know, I don't think it's going to be the end. I definitely think it's going to change movies. I mean, movie theaters have been slowly figuring out a way to draw people for a long time. I do think studios have a problem because they don't know what kind of movies to make. They only want to make movies that are either $250 million or $5 million, right? A lot of those middle-of-the-road movies are being bought up by Netflix or Amazon. And unfortunately, they're not getting the polish that they would get if they went through a studio movie. So we're getting fun, like maybe the Six Underground or the Spencer Confidentials. We're getting fun middle-tier movies on these platforms, but not the classics that we would get when we were younger,
So take it for Harley Quinn movie. I think it was $90 million to produce. That is and I think even the studio knew that was a good middle of the run movie. They weren't expecting billions or anything like that. Whatever they made. $90 million is still a lot of money.
Well, and honestly, it still massively underperformed at what they thought it would. I mean, it did well. I saw some people say it was a bomb. It made over $300 million. It's definitely not a bomb. But
their money back and some. But
it's already on. That's another movie they already put on VOD. They were giving up on that in the theaters even before COVID. And it's just. I think the problem with movies is this. Here's the problem with theaters, and this is why they've gone to giving us comfy seats and better food and better selections and all these other things, is because movies are in two categories now. One, you don't care about, or two, you have to see in a theater. Yeah. And the problem is
the big problem.
The have to see in theaters have all become things, IPs you've heard of. Nothing really original anymore. And a lot of times people who like to go see movies will go see the movies you don't have to see in theater, like, for instance, The Invisible Man. So the problem the theaters are going to run into is, can they financially stay open if the only movies people will go see are the have to see in theaters, and all the other ones that just end up on demand. So I think theaters are going to get smaller. I think the days of having 16 screen theaters are over. I do think they're going to start. I mean, if you go to the theater now, they've already ripped out all the 200 seat auditoriums, and they've put in 50 leather recliners. They're going to have to
people at home, basically the chair that you would have at home.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going to have to get more creative. I've seen some theaters doing the 4DX where the seats move and they have other stuff like that. I think theaters are going to start trying to license out old back catalogs too. I think they could do well, like if they got the rights to show Alien 1, 2, and 3 in a theater, and you could go back and see these movies in the theater that you maybe didn't get a chance to. I think there's a market for that as well, but I don't think they'll ever quite go out of business, just because there's always going to be demand to see some movies in theaters, and they're going to have to change their model.
So that it's going to be, movies that you have to see, and then movies that are just going to kind of chug along, like, movies like Harley Quinn that are just kind of be in the middle of the pack. I mean, unless it's Marvel, Star Wars, I guess some DC movies like Wonder Woman maybe might be a must-see kind of movie.
I just think you're only going to see IPs anymore at the theater. That's
Yeah,
why Disney crushes it every year because they have all the IP.
yeah. And I mean, at some point, you're gonna reach a saturation point where people are like, do I really need to do this? I don't see the movie theaters going away, but I do see what you're saying with, they're going to be a lot smaller engagement. They're going to be really focusing on like the big, what they consider is going to be the next big blockbuster movie.
You could see. Did
And
you
it,
honestly?
it,
You could
I mean,
see
I guess
chains.
the
You could
experience
see.
might get better. I mean, we got leather chairs that are vibrating, and
You could.
blowing
You could also see movie chains get bought out by the studios. I mean, you might have Disney studios theaters that just show Disney. You want to see a Disney movie? You got to go to the Disney theater.
What would a what would a Disney theater? I mean, why don't you just go to Disneyland? I guess.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think they're going to
That
go
makes
away
sense,
yet.
though. Like if you think of it, the new CEO of Disney is the guy that does all the before he was
parks.
running all the theme parks, and so his thing might be trying to take the theme park experience and making it into the movie experience, which would be like you said, Disney buying out theaters and retrofitting them out that way.
Yeah, true.
I could definitely see that happening. I mean, not with Disney, but I could see, the theater having to be more interactive with the.
Or they may have to, or theaters might have to partner up with some of the studios, and they might have one screen that's always dedicated to a Disney movie. And if there's no Disney movie out, maybe it's whatever Disney movie Disney says, re-release it. Here you go. We're taking it out of the vaults.
Disney has no shortage of movies right now.
So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think, like I said, I don't think they'll go away because even as nice as it was to be able to watch Invisible Man and I saved money and watch it at home, I wouldn't want that experience all the time. I still enjoy going to see a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody next week when they watch Onward are going to be like, "Oh, this movie's really good." It was better in a theater. It was really good in a theater to watch just this big, huge, beautiful Pixar movie, on a giant screen.
Hopefully, I can convince my kids to watch it because they know that Pixar movies are sad, and they don't want to have to deal with that part.
This one is sad. This was different kind of sad. This isn't like, oh, somebody died, so you're sad. This is like the whole movie deals with sad things. But it's really good. I will say this, too. The other thing I do enjoy about a movie experience, I kind of touched on a little bit earlier, is that it's the only time you can... We have so many distractions now in life, so many things. Everyone's got ADD. Nobody can put down their phone. Everyone's got to go to the bathroom 15 times or get something to eat every 30 seconds. Yeah. I love a theater because you tune out life, and for 2 hours, you're just there watching your movie.
And they lock the door, and they say...
You can't leave. They say 10 enter, one comes out.
Right next to the door so you can run back to the door and take a piss and run back in.
Anyway, all right, there you go. Thank you, Jeff. What a great question. You are the best.
All right, Jeff, Commander General of the GDR Army. Next up, we have the other Brian Kirk.
Another great person with the name Brian.
Yes. And I think we've been giving him a lot of crap. Wait, no, that was the other.
That's Evil Chris.
Yeah, that was Chris. No, Brian, never mind.
We still hate him.
Yes, you're a good man. So here's his question: he wants to know what is your favorite show or part of a show? I'm guessing from our shows that we've done, and the most embarrassing moment that you've had on the Geek Dad Report. So, do you have a favorite show, Brian, of all?
Man, I don't know if I have a favorite episode. I still look back. One of my favorite, probably my favorite thing we did is I still love. Remember when we did that 6 or 7 person roundtable for The Force Awakens?
Oh, I saw that, but I didn't watch it. And we had X on it. We had
Kyle. We had Alan, who does a great podcast. Yeah, Alan came on and he does a great podcast. Idiots Array, if anybody wants a fun Star Wars show to listen to. Yeah, and you and me, it was just so much fun. It was a bunch of people who just love Star Wars. The Force Awakens was the first one that Disney had done. everybody was feeling the vibes. This is before all the trolls came out and just turned it into something shitty.
And this was when we were with Watch Play Read, and so we all got to see it like 2 weeks before like it came out.
Yeah, and you know, and we were, I think it was like episode 50 of the Geek Dad Report. It was.
Yeah.
But it was, oh my God, it was so much fun. Just to have a bunch of people who love something that much, just being passionate about it and having a good time. And we still managed to keep it like together. That was my first big hosting job where I had to keep it on track, get through all the topics, get a whole bunch of people going. It was the first time that I'm like, you know, I can actually do this. I'm pretty good at this. I can actually make something happen here. And it was fun. I really enjoyed that.
That was a lot of fun. I would have to say that my favorite show was when we did the Val Kilmer fat shaming show.
Oh my God, that was so great.
We took every opportunity that we could through every part of that episode. It's the fat shaming.
Dude, that was the one where me and you genuinely laughed so hard there was times of just dead air because we couldn't catch our breath.
I'm pretty sure I was actually crying.
And then I remember you texting me the next day and were like, oh my God, because the picture I picked was poor, like, fat Val Kilmer just smiling, like eating ice cream. And I'm like, oh no, I still feel bad. I honestly, me and Ryan are not mean people, and we've never fat shamed anyone other than Val Kilmer.
I was so sure we were going to get in trouble. Because
and I don't know why we decided to fat shame him at that point. I think it was like a joke about he couldn't fit in the cockpit of I think it was like, it was the Top Gun news, and why isn't he in Top Gun? And I'm like, because he can no longer fit in the cockpit. And then it just, look at it. And then it turned into somehow he was using like a crane to scoop ice cream. I was like, oh my God. Oh, poor Val Kilmer.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Val Kilmer.
That was a great moment.
Sick burns on him that night.
That was hilarious. That was a good one.
I have to say one of my other favorite moments, and I know I mentioned this before, was when I had my homemade green screen that fell apart on me.
It fell on your head.
It literally fell onto me in the middle of the show.
Some of those were great. When I busted out drunk Harrison.
Oh yes,
drunk Harrison Ford. That was I rather enjoyed that. That's tequila.
No matter how hard I tried, I could not get you to stop doing it, and you were rolling on it. I mean, it was. If I had
the action figure out here, I'd bring him back. That was pretty good. I really enjoyed. I mean, I already talked about how much I enjoyed watching you grow as a podcaster, but I really enjoyed a lot of the early episodes. They were so bad. And it was we were just trying to figure out what the fuck we were doing the whole time. Most of it didn't make sense, but somehow we got through it every week. And every single week for like 3 years, we did a show.
Yeah,
rain.
We were on it, and you know, you did a good job of making sure that we stayed on task, and and.
We only ever had one lost episode of the entire time. You know what another one of my favorite episodes is when we did the Crapper Craptastic for Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh yes.
That movie was so ridiculously stupid.
Terrible. Oh my God.
John Big Booty. God, most of the time I've had a pretty good time. Probably my most embarrassing thing was when we did the drunk episode. No, you know what? We never really did anything that was all that embarrassing. I just personally felt like I was so worried that I watched the entire episode like 3 times because I was so worried that I'd said something stupid. Like think about when you're really drunk, all the dumb things you say. Now imagine recording them and then uploading them to the internet before you even really have a chance to listen to it.
Oh, dude, I don't think you were that drunk though. I mean,
we were by the end.
Yeah.
We both finished off a fifth of vodka each.
We had the episode where we both just got so drunk that just nothing made sense.
Yeah, because then Chris hopped on and he wanted to guest on the show, and then he was like wrangling cats. So I'm like, all right, next segment, and then we just start talking about something else. It was It was a lot of fun, but it was definitely like, oh my god, I had so much anxiety the next day. I'm like, oh my god, what if I said something stupid? Whatever.
Like,
I've said so many stupid things.
we
I don't know
only
why I
had
ever get anxiety about it.
we only had the Faithful 15 to worry about anyways. It doesn't.
Hey, now we're back to the Faithful 15. Good times. So, I don't know. You know, it's been 5 years. I've had so many shows that I've just enjoyed in different ways. I don't know, man. It's hard to pick out just one, but those are a couple of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, some of our review shows were a lot of fun. Like, where we got something, from like the comic books or, and did we ever get anything else other than comic books?
I enjoyed reviewing those feminist comic books that everyone hated us for because we liked them.
Yeah,
great.
Those are always good ones. But I mean, there's been so many, great moments. And like I said earlier, I'm very much an introvert, so it's hard for me to communicate and get up. So I gotta say, just being able to have you to talk to, and even though we put it on the internet, that scares the living crap out of me. It has been nice to be able to have at least someone, Brian, that that I can talk to about all this stuff. So
yeah.
That's probably been my most favorite moment. Our friendship that we've been able to build over the last 5 years.
Oh man, you softy! You're gonna make me cry.
No, and then we went to Vegas and our kids ruined it.
They did. What a bunch of jerks. Yeah, here's a Geek Dad recommendation. Don't take your goddamn kids to Vegas. Stupid.
Yeah, and if you do take them to Vegas, make sure you tell them there's poop on the walls.
Oh god.
And everywhere because
they'll try and lick each other's shoes and hands. Dude, if there'd been coronavirus by then, we'd all been dead.
Yeah, I think that was the day though that we went to the what's it called, the Paris one?
The Paris Hotel.
Yeah, and we got the Eiffel Tower drinks.
Oh yeah.
I was feeling really good by the end of the strip.
I was housed. Remember Holly was half drunk and real mad. She's just angry, pushing the stroller around, running people over. Good times. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, but I think. Do you have any other stuff that you want to talk about for our most embarrassing moments? I think we pretty much covered all the business.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't had a ton of embarrassing moments.
I don't think I'm really embarrassed. That's the thing. Like,
there's been times I felt real fat. I'm like, the camera adds on 50 pounds.
Yes. I think it's because we're talking to each other. We don't get embarrassed about it. I mean, it's just, yes, maybe that we put it on the internet and other people are going to see it. But in the moment, it's just us talking to each other. So we're like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
So,
all right. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Next up.
And Brian, first of all, I'd like to give Brian a special shout out. Brian has been with us for a long time. Brian was a big, huge fan of he doesn't watch the show as much because he liked the podcast, and unfortunately somebody quit uploading it, so he has not been able to catch up on all the episodes.
Well, I will try to get back to him. It's just when I started to watch, I was looking at like what the metrics were, and when
it's not about the metrics. Sometimes it's about the one person. It's about the one person, Brian, who unfortunately for him is an old soul and had like a data cap, so he couldn't stream it on YouTube, but he could listen to it on podcast because it didn't cost him much data. But
maybe
whatever.
How we lost Phil because Phil went.
We lost Phil because Phil went to move to the mountains.
Phil moved into the mountains and never came out.
He's been living in a cabin on a river full of crocodiles for at least 3 years.
Yes. But thank you, Brian.
Yes, thank you, Brian.
Yes, for everything that you've done for us, over the years.
And for having a great name.
So finally we have Christine, and she sent us. She has a couple questions.
Well, first of all, I would like to give Christine. We already gave her one shout out. I'd like to give her another shout out. Not only is she the only person who left us a question, multiple questions, who is in fact a top fan of the Geek Dad Report.
When maybe we can take a screenshot, but we'll take a screenshot, and she's got the little diamond.
Yep, top
shows
fan.
Up on the thing. I don't know if she can see it, but
so
it shows
not only is she the only top fan on this list, she's also the only person who sent crying gifs and crying face emojis because she's so sad this is the final episode.
Yeah, so nobody else cared except so maybe we'll set up a Patreon.
Yes.
Christine can pay us $1 a month.
Tell you what, we're going to start a new show. It's called Just for Christine.
Just for Christine. And we'll only talk about nerdy stuff.
We'll only answer her questions. And we'll do it just for you, Christine, because you are, in fact, our #1 fan.
Very much. And so let's dive into her question.
All right, what we got?
If you were an inanimate object, what would you be? An inanimate object.
Well, I don't think I can say it. I don't think it's appropriate for the show.
Let's see. I have a really inappropriate thing that I would say.
There's a massively inappropriate thing I would say. I'm not going to say it, though.
I would be a brand new Xbox. Because at least then my kids would still want to at least play with me.
That is really sad and tragic. Wow. Damn, that's some deep shit. You need to go sit on the couch somewhere and talk about your feelings.
If I'm not around anymore and I'm going to turn into an object, at least, if I was... You don't want to be a lamp. Like, you're like, oh, hey, this used to be my dad. He's a lamp.
All right, well,
now.
if I put aside... Hang on a second. I just got a text. What's my text say? Look at my face. Goddamn fucking phone. Hang on, wait for it. If I put aside all the weird perverted things that I could be as an inanimate object.
I had so many perverted ones that I could have done. But.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could be like a bar stool, or you could be a sex toy, but those are easy answers. I'm gonna think of something harder. I'm gonna be, if I could be anything, I would like to be the Millennium Falcon.
Ooh. Who's gonna be your Han Solo and Chewie?
I don't care. Hopefully somebody with soft hands.
Yes. Because you're gonna survive for 30+ years, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, you have that one stint where you be on a planet where nobody knows that you're around. But
I'm going to be beloved by millions of people. Some people will even get tattoos of me on their body.
Yeah. And at one point, there'll be a bunch of porgs in you, and everyone will think it's cute.
That's kind of weird. But, was that like a Richard Gere thing? But, I'd like to be the Falcon, the Millennium Falcon. I guess maybe a second runner-up. I'd like to be the DeLorean and go back in time, see some cool shit.
Ooh, that's a good one. What about the Titanic?
Because then you'd sink us at the bottom of the ocean.
And then everybody will die on you.
What's the worst item? Non-sexual.
Titanic?
No. What's the worst inanimate object that's not sexual that you could be? I mean, and besides toilet paper, that's obviously terrible.
Like an old beat-up family car.
I'm going to say Trump's hairpiece.
Let's see. The bronzer that has to get applied to him all the time. The orange bronzer just got to get smeared all over his face.
You're like, we're going to get sprayed on our new home. And then this fat, naked old man walks into the... Oh, God. All right, I can't talk about that anymore. All right, moving on. What's the next question? What's your final answer? I'm going to say the Millennium Falcon.
I'm going with Xbox. Every new
that's right, because you want your son to care about you.
I'm going to be a lightsaber.
I thought about lightsaber, but people are always losing those, and they always get broken and cut in half.
Yeah, that's true. I'll be the Jaeger from... The American Jaeger from Pacific Rim.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Alright. Let's see. She wants to know, her other question was, would you rather be able to talk to land animals, sea animals, or flying animals? And why? Which type of animals would you rather be able to talk to?
Well, if we're going to go, in a realistic manner. So obviously if I could also live underwater, I'd talk to sea animals because you live underwater.
You'd be Aquaman.
I don't think there's, I mean, animals that fly. So what? You just talk to birds. I don't feel like birds have much interesting things to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't care about the flying animals.
I'd probably want to talk to land animals because that's probably the thing that's going to help you the most in your current environment and situations.
Yeah. I mean, I think land animals would be alright. I'd go with sea animals just because I'd be like, so, what's like the weirdest crap that you've seen down there?
You're
That
like, aliens, man, aliens. Like, oh shit. Yeah, that's true. That'd be pretty cool.
Is there this layer, a pocket where there's a bunch of megalodons that are underneath it, and there's this pocket that's keeping them all.
There's a mist pocket. Man, but see, every time I think of sea animals, I think of that dolphin that could speak in deep sea, what is it? DSV or whatever the show was. Remember that super submarine?
Yeah. I'm sure there's, I don't think sea animals, I would just talk to, I would do that one. Just because.
That's true. I'd be like, please, shark, don't eat me.
We don't know about.
That's true. That's a good answer. All right. I think she had a third one. What is the final question?
See, her final question was, you are a burglar.
Ooh.
Brian.
Yes.
Instead of stealing, you do things to mildly inconvenience your victims.
So you're not really much of a burglar. You're just kind of a...
Yeah, because a burglar steals stuff.
Kind of a trespasser, a devious trespasser.
Yeah, you're more like an in-life troll, social troll, basically. Like instead of like trolling people like on the internet, you're just going in their house and like messing with their stuff.
I would switch all their plugs from their devices in the back of the TV.
Just like turn them off.
No, I'd change all the HDMI inputs. So like you used to think it was like your cable, now it's your DVD player.
That would be a giant pain. I would unplug your coffee maker because then you'd have to plug it back in and wait for it all to turn on if you had it automated.
I would eat all the ice cream and leave exactly one bite left in all the containers.
God, my kid do that, and that pisses me off. No, I went to like there's like I think it was like 11 o'clock at night. I just watched a couple of shows. I was about to go to bed. Like, you know what? I feel like, treat myself to some, I knew there was like a brand new thing of ice cream that we just got like 3 days ago. I open it up, cookies and cream, which is, good one. There was literally like one scoop of ice cream left in that thing. And I talked to my wife the next day and she's like, no, I literally, like.
My kids know.
One dessert and everybody got like a couple of scoops. Like, yeah. But she's like, there were like 3/4,
My kids know if they eat the ice cream, they die.
Yeah.
I would turn all the batteries in every remote opposite way so they didn't work.
Oh, and then when you open it up, you look at it. No, it must be fine. Got to put new batteries in there.
I would steal all the extra rolls of toilet paper that people keep underneath their sink. So when they run out, they're like, "Oh, I got one." No, you don't.
I would take out the ice tray and fill it with vodka.
I'd fill the vodka bottle full of water.
Yeah. See, I would just go around and unplug all the stuff and just leave it unplugged, just to be a dick.
That'd be cool. I'd change all their phones and passwords. I'd change all the languages on TVs and phones to like Russian.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. I would switch out your dog food with cat food.
That's a good one.
And see if you noticed. No.
Yeah, until the dog gets diarrhea everywhere.
Yeah. That's a pretty bad inconvenience, have diarrhea dogs.
I would change all the hoses on your sinks and faucets so whenever you got hot water, it was cold. And whenever you got cold water, it was hot.
Just turn on all the lights in your house so that when you wake up in the morning, all the lights are on.
That's a good one. I put all the spoons in the fork spot.
I would turn on it to just have it playing like every night. And so when you wake up in the morning, it's just been playing.
That'd be good. All right. That's all I got. I don't got any more.
We're running low on. I would drink all the beer in your fridge.
It's just mean. That's not even devious. All right.
Then you
Well,
got
thank you, Christine. Like I said, you have been awesome, and we are not. Don't be so sad. We're not completely going away. We'll be around, and the Facebook page will still be active, and you know, we're not going anywhere. We're just not doing this particular thing anymore.
yes.
Or who knows? Maybe we'll get really bored in a few months and realize we can't come up with any better ideas, and then we'll just do it again.
No, that was it. And the last thing that we ever have is
All right, well.
the crying gift.
Okay, well, that was all the questions we had. Okay, well, real quick before we get out of here, did you have a recommendation? Because I actually had one.
Let's see. So we watched A New Little Women for my daughter's birthday, for her 10th birthday. That's what she wanted to watch because she is a feminist and training. It's a good movie. I mean, if you've seen the one with Winona Ryder, from a while ago, it's the same.
Or if you've read the book,
just a little bit updated. Let's see. We started watching The English Game on Netflix. The one about soccer or football. The very beginnings of football in England. God, I mean, it feels like we watched so much stuff, but I just can't really just like quantify, all of it that we've gone to in the last week.
Yeah. Well, I watched The Invisible Man, which I already talked about. Great movie. I watched Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is on Amazon Prime. I would recommend that. It's the humor's a little dated, and the last half of the movie is much better than the first half of the movie, but I really enjoyed that. I would check that out. And then there's two new shows I want to talk about real quickly on Netflix. I recommend them both. The first one is actually a pretty quick 20-minute episode, 7 episodes, so about an hour and 40 minutes for the whole first season. It's called I Am Not Okay With This. It's
remember I talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did you talk about that one? Well, I finished. Yeah. Did you finish the whole thing?
Yeah, it was good.
All right, never mind. Since Ryan talked about it, I guess I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Ryan recommends it. I also recommend it. I approve it as well. But there's a show that I found. It's on its second season. I had heard about it, and I always kind of wanted to watch it, but I hadn't had a chance to. And with things being so crappy lately and just dark and dreary, we decided that we would try and find something funny on Netflix. My wife isn't really into comedies very much, so it was like, yes, my chance to get a comedy. And I'd seen it, and so I finally watched it. It's called Sex Education. It is... It's on Netflix. There's 2 seasons. Gillian Anderson's in it, Scully from X-Files. She's the only really well-known person. The rest of it is, over 18-year-olds pretending to be under 18. But the setting is a high school somewhere in England. And basically the premise is the son, the main character, he's the son of Scully, who's a sex therapist. And so he's kind of learned a lot what his mom said, or has been, he's been listening to his mom for years, and he's picked up a lot of stuff. And so him and some of his friends end up starting like a sex advice thing at the school. It sounds really goofy, and I'm going to warn you, the first episode, like, it has a lot of nudity, a lot of raunchy stuff. This is definitely not for kids, and it is almost a little awkward the first time you watch it, because there is lots of nudity and they're supposed to be high schoolers. So it's a little weird like that, but it's like American Pie a little bit, and some of the humor and dick jokes and stuff. But it has it has so much heart to this show that we've blown through the first season in a couple of days, and like there are times when you're getting teared up. You are so invested in these characters. The writing in this show is so strong that you care so much about each one of these people and what happens to them. That it's honestly one of the best new shows I've watched in a long time. I mean, it is not for everybody. If sex talk, if sex things make you squeamish,
you need to be watching with somebody who does not mind.
Yeah, if LGBT stuff is not the things you want to watch, this is maybe not be the show for you. But it is a heartfelt. It's about people and what they really go through in life is really what it is. The first episode's a lot fun. Every episode's pretty funny, but the first episode is definitely more kind of slapstick humor than the whole series in general. But it's about people dealing with real shit in life and things that make them feel uncomfortable or make them feel ugly or pretty or
is it like American Pie kind of like sex stuff? Or...
Yeah, it's like American Pie if American Pie actually had a heart. So, yeah, it definitely encompasses all the awkwardness of growing up and awkwardness of just sex and relationships and having people who one person may want something and the other person may not want the other or want something else, and people not knowing how to talk to each other, right? And it deals with that. And but like I said, it does such a good job with the writing with all the different characters. You just really care about everybody. And people are real people in this, right? I mean, yeah, sometimes they're kind of a character and sometimes they're over the top, but like even the characters that are meant to be goofy or kind of like that you're not supposed to care about, you really do, and you want the best for them. And it's, I don't know, Sex Education. I haven't watched season 2 yet. We have 1 episode left in season 1, but it's a really good show. I'd highly recommend it. Like I said, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. I mean, the opening episode is a girl riding a guy screaming as loud as she can. I mean, that's the opening scene. So definitely do not watch it with your kids. But it is I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I thought it's.
Your wife accidentally catch you watching it without letting her know beforehand.
She's watching it with me, and she absolutely loves it. And she's not usually into shows that have like a ton of nudity and stuff in them. But this is the way they do it in this makes it feel real, and it makes it's not just to be exploitive. It's for a reason. It's for a purpose. So I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
I'll try and check it out.
Yeah, check it out. But definitely want to let your wife know, babe, I swear, I'm not watching porn. This is it's a real show. It's really good. So, all right. Well, that is it for recommendations. So before we get out of here tonight, me and Ryan just wanted to basically say thank you to everybody. It's been 5 years. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a great time with the Geek Dad Report. And like I said, we're not going away. We are going to do some other stuff. And if anybody has any ideas of things they'd like to see us do or shows they'd like to hear us talk about or anything, we're up for ideas. We haven't finalized anything yet. Everything is still on the table. We'd love to hear everyone's input, but as far as this show goes, maybe there might be a special episode here and there, but this is done, and we've had a blast. And we'd like to thank everyone who joined us for a little bit, for the whole thing, or just at any moment. Just watch us for 5 minutes. You guys have meant the world to us, and it's been a super fun ride.
Yeah, I mean and you might just see Brian and Charlie doing the it season 2. Or my daughter, she's been talking about really wanting to do a girl's opinion, on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So you might get those kind of videos. It's who knows, and like we said earlier, we might both go see the new Star Wars movie. We have to talk about it, and we'll just let you guys, and we'll keep doing it. But we're not going anywhere. We're just the podcast is just put on pause until we can kind of figure out what it is that we want to do, what excites us, which where the media landscape has been going lately, which is very not exciting.
Yeah.
And it's not that we don't appreciate everything that all the support that you guys have given us and all that. It's just it's been 5 years.
It's been 5 years. It's time to try a new adventure, and our YouTube page will still be open.
5 year. Remember season 5 of Lost and like how just like when they started getting just random and all over the place. Like we want to hit the pause button. Mm-hmm. And we're going to just try and get our crap figured out, basically.
Yep. So, but the YouTube page will still be open. If you want to watch any of our old episodes, they'll still be there. Our Facebook page, we're going to keep open and keep active. And even if we launch something new, we'll pair it with our current Facebook page. We love nerd stuff. We love geek stuff. We love movies. We love talking to everybody. So you guys can always find us there. And we will always talk to you guys. You can send us a direct message. We are here. We are available. If you're really excited about something, you really want to hear us our opinion, and you just want to see one of us hop on there and talk about something we saw, and we're up to that too. So we will be around. We are not gone. This is just this isn't goodbye. This is just we'll see you later.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's not a goodbye. It's a see you later. We don't know when we'll be back, but
yeah, I had the whole Sound of Music number ready to sing, but it was too much coordination. I was going to do the so long, farewell, we really have to go. But instead, we're just going to say thank you, everybody. It's been awesome. We love all you guys and girls, and we're going to see you real soon. But until then, everyone.
Thank you for giving us something to do for 5 years. I mean, there's not
that's
a lot of things that we
You
can
have
do.
helped us as much as we've helped you. But man, you ruined my big moment. It's like, until then, Ryan. Until then, everybody. As we always say on this show, good journey. May the force be with you. Stay awesome. And be excellent to each other, everyone.
Yeah. And you know what? Stay nerdy. Always stay nerdy.
All right. That's it. It's a wrap, Ryan. We did it. 200.
2 episodes.
All right. Later, everybody. See you around. We'll see you soon.